is coming! Seriously, it's week 12. 3 weeks left. How are you doing? Greetings, everybody. Welcome to week 12. Hope everything is going swell for you. Semester's flying by, at least I hope it is for you, and I hope that you're not too overwhelmed with the things you got coming up next. But we're getting close to summer. We got this week, then week 13, 14, and 15, and then we're out of here. So, let's get going and talk about what we have. Grading update. I hadn't really done a lot of grading this week, but I will get it knocked out the next few days in between things. I do want to remind you that 4/19 is the late work deadline. It is the revision deadline, and it's the Conference 2 deadline. Please do not wait until the 18th to start doing this stuff. Every time I get people lined up on the last day where there's conference deadlines, and let's just get it knocked out ahead of time. Make this class the one you don't have to worry about the nitpicky crap with. There's going to be plenty of work for you to do later on. Get to the stuff as soon as you can. Let's get your work as good as it can. I have faith in you. You can all do this. A lot of the work we've done to this point builds into the last assignment. Also, last week I uploaded in the middle of the week a nice document I saw, How to Email Like a Boss, I think it was called. We have talked about formal writing, formal language in here before, but this is a particularly good one because it tells you how to apply that formal language in a way that will get the proper results. You probably know someone like this who's really nice and friendly, and they're so nice and friendly they end up doing all of the work even when they're not supposed to, because they think that asking authoritatively would be rude. Well, not necessarily. If you can do it right and use the right language, you'll be fine. As far as last week's homework, the individual one was individual. They're all going to be different. And as far as the group one, yeah, you probably need practice in this kind of thing, because let's face it, tattoos are gross, right? I mean, who would be a professional with tattoos? Anyway, let's talk about what we got going this week. You are going to submit your technical description at the end of the week, and you should have already read the formal recommendation report section of the major assignment sheet. In fact, if you haven't already, read the rest of the formal recommendation. Read the rest of the major assignment sheet if you have not done so already, because it's all going to start coming up fast and furious here. For instance, this week, in addition to the sample recommendation report 1, you're getting your first sample to look at to see how well these people have done. You also need to be at the outline stage of your formal recommendation report, because there's an outline due at the end of the week, and you need to do your audience analysis by the end of the week. Both of these are vital parts of the project, and it's not like I'm adding extra work. This is work you should be doing anyway. You should start thinking in terms of a plan. Don't worry if your plan changes on the formal recommendation report. I will not compare the beginning to the end. I just want to see you with some level of structure in mind at this stage. As far as the audience analysis, it's really a good idea, and we've been talking about this since the job application material, to aim your work towards the specific audience. Well, if you're really trying to sell a product to someone, who's that audience going to be? This is an important thing to keep in mind, because I've seen a lot of people who've turned in formal recommendation reports where it's written to me as a teacher, or it's written to the general public. Now, I ask you, If you're going out to buy a new phone, are you going to read a formal recommendation report for it? No, these are business documents. So I want you to start thinking in terms of business, who would you actually be trying to sell your product to, and how would you best do that? In terms of the group work, we're light on group work this week. We have sample formal recommendation report 2. So you've got one individual, you got one as a group. You can immediately look to see what's working, what's not, and get an idea of how these things should be laid out. I mean, really, this is where being good with the major assignment sheet is going to yield you the most benefits, because I spell out the structure you need in the formal recommendation report section. So there's no real excuse to missing this point, because I already listed out what you need. We've got 2 videos. We have a video on the formal recommendation report where I go over a lot of this stuff. And I have a video on how to do a presentation, because doing a presentation is also a part of the formal recommendation report project. We'll talk more about how all this fits together next week. But simply, if you're really trying to get a company to invest in your product, yeah, you'll hand them a document, but they're also going to want to see you present it to them. The outline shows me that you're planning. The audience analysis shows me that you know that this is for a specific client. And as I said, I want to see that you have thoughts in these directions at the end of the week. If things change during the process of your work, that's how things go, and I expect there to be some change. So, you've got some work to do on the formal recommendation report. You've got your outline, you've got your audience analysis, you've got some samples, and you got a video or 2. I think it'll be enough, and it'll really get you focused on where you need to be to make the best of this formal recommendation report. And I think that's all I have. Except for the weather's getting nicer, go outside at least once and get a little bit of vitamin D in your soul. Sun! It's lovely, huh? And get your shot, too, so we can all start hanging out in person again. That would be lovely. But I know you can do it. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.